Numbers are what is left when you've taken all the patterns away. I think prime numbers are like life. They're very logical, but you could never work out the rules, even if you spend all your time thinking about them. This is just one of many quotes from the main character, Christopher Boone. He is a 15-year-old boy with autism, and he is the main character in this book. It's called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. It's a realistic fiction novel, but it's also would be considered a type of mystery. The title is an allusion to a Sherlock Holmes short story called Silver Blaze. So from the very beginning, we know we're in this idea of trying to solve a mystery. And the mystery is this. The opening page, we find out that Christopher Boone's neighborhood dog has died. And the dog has been murdered. There's a pitchfork in this poodle in the yard. And so he's very puzzled by this. Who would murder a poodle? Why would this happen? And so the book starts off with him trying to solve the mystery. It's written as a journal, so it's all his thoughts and feelings trying to solve this crime, and he's interviewing people trying to figure it out. And as he's doing this, he finds out all kinds of shocking facts about him along the way, including his actual connection to the murder that he didn't even realize existed. It takes place in London, so some of the language does have some interesting terms in it because it is in Britain, terms that we don't use, and as you read it, you would find out. The other main character would be his father, who he lives with, and then his mother, who has died. And it's first-person point of view because it is all his thoughts, compiling this journal of sorts. And what I like about it is that he uses really simple sentences to get his point across. So it actually reads like the way he would actually think. It feels very authentic and real. He says things like, my mother died 2 years ago. And then that's it. He just says things that are pretty profound or shocking and then doesn't go on till chapters later because that's how his mind works. He'll say things like, all the other children in my school are stupid. And then he just leaves it at that and then moves on. So at first it's kind of shocking and jarring, but it's trying to get you into the mindset of someone with a neurological disorder, which he has. The way the book is structured also mimics it. Like all the chapters are prime numbers because he only likes prime numbers, so that's what he does. He has all these labels and drawings. He's trying to explain the situation, what's going on. At the very beginning, it shows all these faces because since he has autism, he really struggles with reading people's expressions. And so he talks about that in the beginning and how it can be a struggle to interview people to solve the crime because he's not always sure what they're thinking about, what they're really feeling. So you really get to feel for the character, and he's very likable because he's kind of quirky and interesting. And even though there's some really shocking, really sad parts, he goes through a lot of struggles, it ends pretty positively, which I liked about it. Because it could have had a really awful ending and it doesn't. The theme overall, I would say, is that we will never fully understand another person's perspective. And it's really clear because the character at first would seem so strange to an outsider, but when you read inside his head, you realize what he's doing does make sense just in his own little way. So a motif that goes with that is this idea of deception, because he finds out that people have been lying to him. And he's very upset about this. And so at one point he flat out says, I find people confusing because they're doing all these things and to think that they're protecting him, but he just feels like he's being betrayed. So without giving it away, I think you'd really like this book if you like realistic fiction, if you like first-person point of view, if you like reading about something, about a person who's probably a bit different from you in their thinking. Finally, I think the book is fun too because it's actually pretty humorous. He has a sense of humor without even meaning to. And so with that, I'll leave you with this quote from the book that he says. He mentions, I think people believe in heaven because they don't like the idea of dying, because they want to carry on living, and they don't like the idea that other people will move into their house and put things into the rubbish. So, hope you think about reading this book. Thank you so much.